So I've done my initial unboxing of this Haslab 2 in the box. Thought they looked fantastic straight out of the packaging. But now I've got them in hand, I'm going to have a proper detailed look at them, see how they function, have a look at the light up features, the sounds, and just give my overall verdict. Let's start the review now. Hi all, Chris here. I do have the Hasbro Haslab Ghostbusters 2 in the box out. I loved doing the unboxing. It was Christmas Eve and I was kind of rushed. So I wasn't able to give my full review at the time, but now with a little bit more time, I'm able to have a proper look at these two accessories, the Ghost Trap and the P.K.E meter, and give my real thoughts on them. For those of you that haven't seen my unboxing, my initial thoughts were that I thought they looked great. They felt really weighty. I thought they were good replicas. So I think it'd be interesting to get into a little bit more detail on them. Especially, like I said at the beginning, seeing the light up features and the sounds and how they play into the sort of overall aesthetic of these accessories. Now, I'll preface this by saying I'm a passionate fan for Ghostbusters. I love the movies and I love collecting the toys, the figures, the accessories that are tied into this franchise. But that being said, I'll be honest, I might get a couple of the names wrong on some of these bits. I'm probably not as versed on those technical names for some of the parts on these props. So forgive me if my knowledge of those is left a little bit wanting. Please feel free to correct me in the comments section if I get any of them wrong. I'd love to learn what they are. But what I'm going to do is we're going to start with the Ghost Trap. And I have it in front of me here. And I mean, as you can see, I said before, but the level of detail on the scratching and on the weathering is just so dope. I love especially on that sticker, the danger sticker at the back there. I think it just looks so impressive and really is weighty as well. You know, it feels like it's a substantial accessory, and we've got some of the knobs on the front there as well that are used to control some of the features of the device. But yeah, I think it's just an excellent looking bit of kit. And if I just turn it around a little bit here so we can see the other side, again, feels as though it's really true to how it's seen in the movies, especially with some of the added attachments on that side there as well. It just feels like, from a little bit more of a layperson's point of view, that this replicates what we see in the movies very well. So what we're going to do first is we can release the internal part of this trap, as it does in the film, when it is being deposited into the containment unit. This centerpiece slides out, although I'm having a little trouble with one hand doing that. We'll move that out of the way there. And the thing about removing this straight away is that the battery compartment is on the inside, so I've already put 4 AA's in there. So we will slide that back in, and it clicks in quite nicely, so you don't have to worry about breaking it there. And there is 2 on functions on here, so pushing it forwards towards the front of the trap will turn on light function only, and then if you turn it to the back, it is light and rumble function. So it's only a slight rumble, not enough to really get it to shake as if there's a ghost inside, but that's kind of what it's going for. The light function on here is incredibly bright, as is the sound. The sound is very clear and loud on here, and again looks exactly as I'd expect from the film. Great on here, and I'll place this back down, and I want to show you the button that's on the handle as well. So when the pedal isn't attached, the button can be used to open the trap, so you can double tap that to open the trap for pedal function, which is really useful, so you get to show off the quality of that pedal function. And then holding down that button gives you ghost function, which will give you the sounds of the ghost trapped inside, which is very cool. And I love the little blinking light there as well. So there are 2 dials on the front that you can see there. One controls ghost mode and the other controls the lights. So there are 6, I believe, different versions of the light that can be used. Some of them are just different speeds of the same animation with the lights, but you can go through whichever you feel your favorites are and pick whichever one you think suits your trap best. And we're just getting another look now. I mean, I think the inside, the lights are really bright on the inside whenever that trap comes open, and the little mesh on there as well, that just adds a little bit to it. But in general, I'm just so impressed with how this looks. Now with this, there are a number of different ghost sounds that can be chosen. This dial on the left side of the trap controls what ghost sound you hear. So what I'm going to do is just go through the various trap sounds that you can hear through this device. So they're all the sounds, but actually we also have these silver aluminium rods as well, and if we take the red ones off, which are the Ghostbusters 1 rods, we can then change them to these silver rods, which are the Ghostbusters 2 rods, effectively, and we will have a completely different set of ghost trap ghost noises. And now I'll show you one here. You can see that there's just a little bit sticking out on the red one, and that's the only difference between the rods. So that little red piece effectively tells the trap which rods are in place. So with the silver one on, let's just go through the various ghost sounds that you can hear with these alternate rods. I mean, they're all so cool. I love all of them, and some of them I feel like, oh, can I hear Slimer here? You know, can I hear this there or that there? It's just excellent. And on the other side, there is one more movable knob, and this actually controls the vibration function, so the aggressiveness of the rumble function that's on this trap. And with the trap, we also get the pedal as well. And this pedal likewise looks excellent. But I will show you, before we connect the pedal to the trap, that there are these sort of fake lugs that will push over the pedal and trap cable connectors, so that when the cable is not connected, it gives the impression that it's just the hose that's not been pushed in. So it's just a nice way of finishing off that bare threaded cable connector look with something that's a little bit closer to the movies. And they'll just pull back off here, so we'll get rid of that, and then we'll start connecting the actual cable together. It's fairly straightforward to do, even though I always make it look harder than it should be. It's one of those where there is a little recess on one side, so there's only one way that the cable will push in. And once it is pushed in, there is a threaded screw-on element to it as well to make it very secure. And we'll do exactly the same with the other side as well. And once they're in, we'll get this pedal in front of us, and we can just see what it looks like when the pedal is connected. So we just push down on the pedal here, and the trap opens up, as if by magic. Don't look directly in it. But yeah, so that's just such an excellent pedal function. Now, Hasbro did warn us not to be too rough with the pedal itself. It is only a plastic accessory. Do not slam your foot down on it. Press on the pedal to get it to work, and that will be absolutely fine. But again, the pedal is such an excellent accessory. I think it just looks so well made. Again, the weathering on the pedal as well, I think it looks excellent. But what we're going to do here is we're going to bring in the trap base as well, so that I can show you that. This trap base, the trap just slides on, and you will see the same mount that's used for the neutrino wand on the pack itself and for the actual holder on the belt for the trap. So that just slides into that connector and pushes against the end of the base. And that is it, effectively. That will just stop your trap from rolling around. It doesn't lock as such, so it is still quite easy to get on and off, but if nothing else, it will prevent your trap from rolling around and just raises it a little bit as well. So I think that trap base looks great. As I said to you in the unboxing though, for some reason I really thought that I'd be able to store it vertically, but I can't. The trap is very heavy and this is a thin piece of plastic, so don't expect it to stand upright. Next up, we've also got the trap belt mount. So as I say, it's the same connector that the trap feeds onto, and then we also have a strap that goes across. So I can demonstrate it here, although it probably don't have a great amount of space to do this in. But it slots on in exactly the same way. So the trap slides into the connector, just slots nicely into the V-hook. As such, your belt would slip through those two holes in the mount, and then the strap just feeds across it and holds it in place. So it's nice and easy. And again, feels pretty accurate to the movie as well. But that is the trap and pedal. That's everything that goes with that accessory. As I said before, I'm very, very impressed with it. I didn't really look in great deal at other things like the wheels, but the wheels move very smoothly. I think for just an in-hand inspection, there's not a great deal I can do with the wheels. But just looking at the set, I think the weathering is something that just strikes me straight away, and I feel like it adds a level of realism to the accessories, considering this is just a toy, really. The Proton Pack isn't, obviously. But, you know, this is something that I think represents the props very well. And for those average cosplayers like myself, I think that it works incredibly well. We're just looking at the pedal now, and whereas there isn't quite as much in the way of wearing on it, I do love that ribbon cable and the is it like a resistor or a transformer, that clear piece on the side, some kind of relay, I guess. I just think it looks awesome. And you can see the weathering on the foot part of that pedal, where clearly the use of it, the boots on there have worn it a little bit. But yeah, very impressed. Really, really pleased. I'm going to move on now to the P.K.E meter. And as well as the P.K.E meter, we'll also look at those packing accessories that came with it as well. So we'll have a look at both of those. But here's the P.K.E meter in hand. And I mean, definitely a lighter accessory after you've been picking up that trap. But with the 3 AA batteries that I've already put in here, there is a lot more weight to it. It does really feel like something substantial that you're holding in your hand. And again, not quite as much in the way of weathering. Again, personal preference, but I might add a little bit more weathering to this around the edges. But I think it looks great. A little bit fatter than some I've seen, I would say. I do think the Matter Collector looks like it was a little bit slimmer than this one. But with the P.K.E meter, there are a couple of different functions to it. So actually it has 2 live functions, and these are placed on the bottom. So we have a 1 and a 2, and the 1 is an EMF detection function, and number 2 is sort of the standard play function on this. So I'll move it to number 2. And of the 2 bottom buttons, the right button controls the lifting of the arms of the P.K.E meter, and the left button controls the descent of those arms again. So it's nice and easy for you to control how well you're detecting ghosts effectively. And we'll have a look at those lights on the front there. They're extremely bright. I'm very impressed with that. And there is another function as well that we'll look at a little bit later, but there is sort of a scripted function to it as well. So if you don't want to manually control, there is a scripted function where it will randomly move the arms up and down. Now there are a couple of functions on this top piece here as well. So we can move it to the left for a sort of high ionization version, just a different collection of those lights really. But it doesn't really affect the play of this in the same way that the trap might have changed by the different ways the power buttons were. Now what we also have is the taser function on the back, and this function was seen in the newer movies Afterlife and Frozen Empire. But the taser function is controlled by the switch underneath the red cover. And look at that. Very cool. And then the bottom buttons will control the taser itself. As you can see, the purple light used from the taser. Really like how those arms flip up really quickly for that. And they are, I wouldn't say they feel intuitive to go back in. They're not too bad once you've had a couple of goes at it, but be really gentle with getting these back in. So what you really want is for those black parts to push fully in. So you see the black part on the top, force that in until it clicks. So it should look at a 90-degree angle. Once both are in, it will automatically reset, as so. It's not too bad once you've had a play with it, but you don't really need to be pushing those silver parts of the arms down too far. And we will place it in the stand that it comes with. And I really like that stand, actually. I think the stand is really effective and quite simple for it to get in and out of as well. And as well as the stand for the P.K.E meter, we also have the belt holder for that as well. So this is a nice looking leather style holder for the P.K.E meter, and you can see the two gaps where the belt would feed through. And it's nice and straightforward to put the P.K.E meter in. This is a bit of a holster, I guess. So we will undo the retaining strap on the top. We will take the P.K.E meter out of its mount, and it will just push straight into this holster. And I think for the first time, because it needs a bit to give a little, you will probably need to push that down a little bit more. But don't force it. It doesn't need to go down too far. Just enough for that strap to be able to go over the top and click back into place. I'm just going to turn that off as well. And there we go. So the strap comes over the top, locks that P.K.E meter in place, and there you go. That's how it'll look on your belt. So another great packing accessory that they gave us. Another one of those stretch goals, if I remember rightly. So it's been so long since we first backed it. It's so easy to forget. And that's most of it for the P.K.E meter, but I just also wanted to show you the scripted functions that you can get on this device also. So if we power this back up and we press the button on the right, you will see that it moves up and down almost randomly. But it does give you a little bit more fun in sort of a play style where it will move up and down without you really knowing where the ghosts are. So it gives you the ability to make it look as though you're tracking a ghost a little bit easier. But I like that. And then what will happen is that the button on the left at the top will put the P.K.E meter back to sleep effectively and stop that function from moving. And then you can turn the meter back off. I didn't really go into the IMF function myself. I didn't have a big play around with it, but I did note that when I was first playing with it, I'd got my iPad sitting right next to me, and it seemed to be playing off that quite a lot. I actually thought I'd got the automated scripted mode on when I hadn't, because it just kept moving up and down. So I think with electrical devices, you'll see some reaction to it, but results may vary, I guess. And what we're also going to do now is we're going to take a look at the packing accessories. So there are a couple of accessories that came with it. Some of them are really cool, to be honest. The first one we won't spend too much time on is the instructions that come with it. They are very basic, and effectively what they're doing is giving you a basic overview of what all the buttons do. So I've had a bit of a read of that before the review, and I'm still none the wiser, I don't think. But I'm gonna learn on the job. Another one, which is probably my favourite accessory from all of the packings. I was so looking forward to getting this. So this is a set of ESP cards. So these are the same cards that Venkman uses at the beginning of the first movie. And these ones are actually Ray's Occult Books branded ESP cards. And that looks really nice on the back. But you've got the full set there. I don't think the images on screen really do them justice. They are a really, really nice sort of thick, almost nylon material. So they are very long lasting, a lot like you might get on a really high quality set of playing cards. So I really, really like those, and I think they're going to look really nice, sort of presented perhaps in some sort of frame maybe. And next up we have the Zedmore Industries GB Engineering ID badge. So we're all now members of the GB Engineering Corps, so I like that a lot. And then, as well as that, is another really cool thing that I think I'm going to end up covering my car in, which is a number of stickers. And Haslab love their stickers. I think my particular favourites are the World of the Psychic with Venkman at the bottom there. So a real deep cut to Ghostbusters 2. And the Camp Wakanda at the beginning, a nod to Ray's slip, thinking of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, as they used to roast them at Camp Wakanda when he was a kid. So I really like that as well. But all of those stickers are really cool, regardless. I just think Camp Wakanda is such a deep cut. I love it. And other than the stickers, the last accessory is kind of a poster, I guess. Although it has been sort of folded, and I have real issues with putting up posters that are folded. But it looks really nice schematic of both. And then the patches. So we have the mini puffs from Afterlife. We also have the Haslab patch specific to this. We have the standard Ghostbusters patch, and then we also have the engineering patch from Frozen Empire. And that is it. That's everything that comes in the box, in the 2 in the box box. I'm so impressed with it. It was well worth the wait. There's clearly a high attention to detail that's gone into these. A lot of love and attention from the people at Hasbro. So I love mine. Please let me know in the comments what you think of them. Did you pick up the Haslab? Have you been pleased with them? I have seen maybe a few mixed reactions on social media, so it'd be interested to see what you think. Me, personally, I'm very pleased with them. I think a lot of it, they'll be displayed in a cabinet, some occasional cosplaying, but I think for my purposes, I'm super impressed. But that's it from me, really. If you've enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to my channel for more action figure reviews and news. We've got more Ghostbusters coming. The O-Ring figures have just arrived, so I'll be dropping a review of those very soon. Please consider giving the video a like if you've enjoyed it. All of this is hugely helpful to me and conquering the YouTube algorithm. But if you're interested in joining my channel, my community would love to have you. So please come and join us. But regardless, if you're interested in the Haslab, perhaps you missed my unboxing video. Why don't you check that out next? Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you all take care. Bye-bye now.